Okay, so hi, welcome to another live. Today is the third week that I'm doing these lives, and slowly I'm getting better at them, better at planning them, better at organizing them. Also, like better at like setting everything up because it is a setup. Like you have to prepare the setup and everything. Um, let's see. So, what I wanted to do today is because we are coming closer, coming closer to the end of this year, and because we're coming so close, we're like what, almost a week away from the end of the year. I thought it would be a great day today to actually reflect on this whole year. And as we reflect on the year today, next week, we can actually set up and create goals and plans for the coming year. Hi, everyone who's joining. It's beautiful to see you. I see some familiar faces. Um, so yeah, we today we're gonna just reflect on this 2022 and we can get started. I hope you brought something to write on. I'm writing on my iPad, but you can have a journal or just a notepad, anything you like to do. I think it is definitely a great thing to be able to reflect on where we are so far and where we headed. And but the where we headed we're gonna do next week. And I haven't really done any reflection for the year myself. I usually do a bunch of them because pretty much a lot of the group sessions, if I'm attending any group sessions, often there is an activity that happens in a group where you reflect for the year and create new goals. But this is going to be my first one for this year. So, yes. And since these sessions are named self reflection, I think you really are gonna get a lot out of them. Um, I think maybe not the first session as much. I guess it depends on the situation. Everyone is different, but as time goes, you're definitely going to see more and more like things build over time, and you really get to see the self reflection of yourself. You get to learn about yourself, build new awarenesses, see where your strengths are, your weaknesses, see what you really want to focus on. So, yeah. Okay. Um, so, the first question that I have for this meeting and around self reflection is I wanted to break it into two separate parts. As I was planning this, I was like wondering how to do it. So I think I want to break it into separate questions. So the first questions, and I first also want to deal with the things that maybe aren't as pleasant. So like we're gonna do that first. We're gonna finish with it, and then we're gonna go into more positive things about the year because every single year, some years are feel more challenging than others. I think every single year has something good to bring and something challenging, or maybe not as positive, something that we don't really want to take with us, but it has a major impact. Um, so I think the first question is, um, what did you find challenging about 2022? So I'm going to write mine. What was challenging this year? 2022. So we can take a moment to write some of that down. Don't have any background music. I didn't prepare any today, so I guess you can just play something of your own. Um, so what was challenging this year? Let's make a list. I'm gonna make a list and I'll share some of it with me. There are many of you who are live right now. I see people coming in and out. So yeah, whoever wants to join me can join me. I will get better at planning this so ahead of time so you can join me easier, but I'm still in my early stage and I feel like a little bit lost of what am I doing, how am I doing it, but I'm not giving up, and that's what matters. Okay, so I'm gonna make a list. Hi, who joined now? Um, Whoever is joining now, I am creating a list of what was challenging in 2022, and we're gonna do a reflection of this year. So feel free to join me, and we'll do it together. Okay, so I'm not gonna make a really long list. I wrote down three things. You can go ahead and write even a longer list. I think that if you write a long list, it's good because we're always gonna have a few things that come to us really quickly, because they're just things that are a lot more impactful. But I think it's good to also take a little bit of time, especially since you're reflecting on the whole year, and write down as many things as you can, um, because you're gonna discover something that's kind of in the background. It's hiding. It's not as straightforward. It's not something they deal with every single day, but it was still very very impactful, right? The other thing that you can do is you can literally do it by month as well. So you can be like, okay, what was impactful and challenging in January? What was in February? And literally go by year. Yeah, and look at that. The other thing that I think is really helpful is maybe looking at some photos. Um, Photos can give you an idea of what happened that month. So you can even remember events, and around those events, you will be able to reflect more of that time of the year. So what I wrote down is creating boundaries. This year for me was a really, really important. It's something that I started already working on the previous year. And I think COVID really went deep into it. During COVID, I ended up creating some boundaries that I've been desiring to create for so long. And then this year, they really took place. Like they're grounded, and I don't feel guilty about them or anything like that. So at first, that was really challenging, because it didn't feel good. It, it doesn't feel, in my opinion, I never feel good cutting people out of my life who I care about, but aren't really willing to work with me, to meet me halfway, or just accept me the way I need to be accepted or cared for or loved for. So in that case, if those people are bringing in so much negativity, and are now allowing me to expand and grow, then I need to create certain boundaries with them. And that's really was very unpleasant for me, especially with my parents. It was tough, but it was absolutely necessary, and I feel good about it now. Um, the other one, which I think is connected to the first one, is learning to focus on myself and my projects. This year, I've been a lot more consistent with sharing and creating short videos and even creating YouTube videos. I'm not quite where I would like to be, but I've definitely prioritized a lot of my project and myself, and that's also has been in works for a while. And it's not easy, okay, because for me, if I'm doing something for myself, um I feel like I'm being selfish, or whatever it is, right? When in reality, you're not being selfish. Like, I'm not being selfish. I just gotta do something for myself that I need to do that. And that's where the conflict comes in. But of course, you learn self worth, and that's the reason why I'm also doing this self discovery sessions, because this is some ways that I've learned to learn my own self worth and who I am in this world. And yeah, and learn to start focusing on myself. It's okay to focus on myself. Nothing wrong with it. It's actually great. It allows me even more to contribute to others. But it's a journey. And if any of you are in that on that path and don't really know how that feels, um, that's okay. We can discover it together. So, and then the other thing that actually surprised me, because I do consider myself to be quite a social person. And before COVID happened, I was always out and about. I was always with people. Or maybe not always, but I was often with people. And I was definitely not a person who would cancel. Like, you know how some people say, "Oh, I'm going to go to this event," and they don't show up. Well, that's not who I was before COVID. I would always end up going if I wanted to go to an event or be out and about. And um what happened is, right after COVID this year, I was going out and I was like, oh my God, this feels weird and awkward. And I feel like I'm discovering myself again in a social, in a society, like how I interact, who I am, how I feel. I discovered some anxiety that I didn't have before, and I thought that was so interesting. Hi, Yafar, welcome. So I thought it was really interesting to be facing this social anxiety that I didn't really have that much of. Like, I've had some of it, but I felt it was really, really different. So these are the three things that were challenging this year for me. And at the same time, as I'm talking about them, they were challenging, but I also have to say that they were also very, very rewarding too, because from each one of them that brought me a challenge also brought something positive into my life. And yeah. So the next thing that we'll do reflecting this year is, what is something that um got you really excited this year? Something that you're like, oh my God, this was like the best part of me, of my year. Maybe you went to a concert, or maybe you reconnected with an old friend, or maybe you changed your career and you really love your job. Whatever that is, just take a moment to write it down. I'm gonna write mine stuff down. So I was exciting this year. Hi, whoever is joining. I'm to the next question now, and reflecting of 2022, and I'm writing now. What is exciting? So, what was exciting for me this year? Hmm. Okay, so if you need more time, you can just pause and you can take your time. What was exciting for me? I wrote a few things down. Actually, wrote more than three. I wrote four this time. um, so I spent time with my husband. I think that is always an exciting thing for me. For us to spend time together, to have activities together, to just like in general, I really enjoy spending time with him, and we got to spend this year as husband and wife, and that is something new for me. And based on based on like the image or the way people would talk about something got into my eye. I think it's a piece of hair. The way what I'm used to people talking about marriage, I feel like people, there's this idea that there is excitement when you meet, and that's about it. Then after that, it's not exciting. So I was excited to get married and all of that, but then I was really concerned, like, oh well, maybe like the moment we get married, I'm not gonna feel good about it. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually, I felt even better after getting married. I felt this was my person. This is who I really want to share my life with, and I feel like our relationship has only been getting better and more fun. And we just get to know each other, and we create our life together, and we plan together. So yeah, that was actually really exciting part of this year for me. The other two that I wrote, they're kind of connected, and that is the creativity. I'm doing the reflection of 2022. So if you want to join me, we can do it together. I'm doing the second question, and that is what was exciting this year. And so the other part was connecting to my creativity. Um, this year I took on vlogging, which I've never done before. Um, I am taking on creating videos. I'm taking on doing this live sessions that I've never done before. And and I and it's something that I was really nervous at first, but that thank you. Happy Christmas to you too, and Happy New Year. And yeah, and connecting to that part of me that I was told as a little kid, that it was useless and that it will really never really help me much. Like, that's just waste of time, and you can't sustain yourself with creativity. Finding ways to connect to my creativity and actually seeing that there is possibility for me to sustain myself from creativity and to bring other parts into it was something really exciting, and it actually has me exciting for the year to come. But that's a conversation for next week. And then the other thing that was exciting that the creativity brought is to become part of this community of creators. people who are bold, people who are stepping out of their comfort zone. Hi, it's so beautiful to see so many of you joining right now. People who are going after their dreams and being part of that and sharing my story is really something that has made this year really exciting. And yeah, so I see a bunch of you joining now. It's really nice to see you and welcome you to this reflection of 2022. I did a few questions. I took two questions so far. The first one was what was challenging this year, and the second one was what was exciting this year. Um, so yeah, and I think that I want to go a little bit more deeper in doing this, and I'm only going to do one more question, just to not make this live super long. And the last question that I think I want to leave everybody with, and that is to connect more to the emotions. I think emotions are really, really important. And when we have a coherence of our heart and our brain, our mind, and our body, that we really get to transform our lives and who we are and how we live and everything that we do. So, I really want to ask you what feeling, this like great feeling that you had this year, what is that feeling that you would like to keep and to stay with you? um for example, I got married this year, and that excitement of starting a family and com- and creating the family is something that I want to keep on carrying it with me into next year and for years to come and for time to come. So I'm gonna give you a minute to think about it, and I'll also gonna give myself a minute. I'm gonna write stuff down that I can think of, and then I will share. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I kind of shared part of mine, and that is starting a family. I think with starting a family, there's a lot of new beginnings, a lot. So, um, starting a family is just a small part of the magic of starting a family, right? That relationship that you have. But with starting a family, you start a new relationship to your career, to yourself, to your friends, to your family, because now something so special to you is taking a priority, something that beforehand wasn't there. It didn't exist. It might have been an idea, it might be something that you wanted to create in the future, but it was definitely not something that existed in reality, and now it exists in reality. So I definitely want to continue taking on, and I'm going to continue with this beautiful feeling and everything that I'm creating with my husband and us together. Um, and then the other one is all the possibilities. And it's just a feeling at the moment. And there are some things that are opening up that I can see they're already happening. But majority of the stuff is still very much out there, in the universe. And these possibilities that creativity and embracing creativity is going to bring on for me, and how good it feels to be doing something that I enjoy and to be able to bring value while I do it, um, is incredible. So that's something that I want to take on with me into the following year and hopefully for the years to come. Um, yeah, it's really exciting. So I know the holidays are coming this weekend. To change the subject a little bit. Привет, привет, Yana. And what's happening is that the holidays are here. Happy Hanukkah. I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but I definitely love the donuts. So don't mind me having some donuts, or at least the custard from the inside because I can't have gluten. But I definitely tried some of the custard and they're absolutely delicious. So happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. This weekend is Christmas, and enjoy the holidays. Do take care of yourself. Eat, enjoy the food, um, and have fun. Hope you get to spend it with people that you absolutely love and that love you, and that you really get to share that energy together, because that there's nothing more special than just spending special moments with people who really mean a lot. Next week, I'm still gonna do a live on Wednesday, and next week we're gonna set up goals for 2023, because we're literally gonna be about 3 to 4 days before the New Year's. So it'd be a perfect moment to do it before New Year's arrives. Okay, before it gets here, we gonna sit down, put that energy in, so that when it arrives, it's already here, and we're ready for it. We're gonna be ready for it. That's it. So yeah, thank you to everybody who joined, and who anyone just stayed for a while, who anyone just came for a moment and decided to leave. Um, I'm really happy to have had you, even if it was just for a moment. And if you want to do this exercise later on, I think I'm gonna leave this video, I think, on the pages, but in a future, because I am building a community, I would like to I will share that information as time comes. But in next year, I am going to be bringing this video to one particular platform, so people who want to participate can always have access to it, and that way we all get to connect and share these beautiful moments together. Okay. Well, thanks again. Sending you lots of love, chupirines, and may you have fabulous week with so many holidays. Eat well, don't overeat, don't overdrink, but still have a lot of fun. Big hug. Bye. How do I get out of here?